who's going to be the bigger man? Who is the bigger man out of these two? Because you know when two elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers.
I think what happens is I will ask on both sides. Maybe on both. Some of us do believe now it's time to cool down the flares in CORD, and some of us have taken progressive steps to try and tell them cool down the flares, and I hope there will be leaders of that type also in Jubilee, so that then I think we need to create the framework upon which these talks or this dialogue needs to be conducted. And let us sell it to our colleagues in a manner that apparently appears to appeal to them. Because I think, I read the story of the Pharaoh, I think it's also in the Bible. When God sent Moses to the Pharaoh, he told him to go in a strategic way, with good language and good demeanor. So I think what we need to do is to simply, in this kind of a situation, to reach out in a manner that is acceptable to everybody, so that we can now come to a table of negotiation. Yeah. But the country as it stands right now, I personally, as a elected political leader, I know if I was to run for an election in Mombasa, I would still win. But that is not the end game. The end game is about how we bridge the embers of hatred.
In this case, who's Moses and who's Pharaoh? Don't answer. Don't answer.
It's obvious.
Yeah. All right, let me ask you this real quick.
Yes.
Has the dialogue between these two, I mean the president and CORD leader Raila Odinga, has it reached a point of no return, or can one of them be the better man? Make that phone call, invite the other, let's sit down, let's chat. Just the two of us, none of these other folks.
They have no choice, the two of them. In the interest of this country, they have no choice but to create space, to create the right atmosphere for dialogue. That a lot of things have gone wrong. We are under the assault of a common enemy. Instead of getting together to ask ourselves how we confront this enemy, we are apportioning blame and trading insolence and parodying each other, saying very bad things of one another, and the enemy is taking advantage of that opportunity. I agree with the Senator. He is saying the right things. There are things which I trust that the leaders there in Jubilee and in CORD are also hearing. The president seemed to have initially brought down the temperatures when he said
1st of June.
On the 1st of June, that if my brothers have an agenda, let them bring it. So what happened? What happened when he went to State House and some people came from nowhere? I say nowhere because there are people whom ordinarily I would not even expect that they would be addressing the nation from State House. There's only one person who should address the nation and the world from State House, and that is the head of state. The other people find their own platforms which are less and equal to their status, and these people are now speaking from State House and reversing what the head of state has said. I think that is wrong. So he needs to go back to his script at Uhuru Park and say this is the way we want it to be done. And Raila in Nyayo Stadium, yes. And Raila Odinga and his colleagues in CORD must also know that the country is greater than any other agenda that they might have. And if they genuinely, legitimately care for this country, everybody must be humble. They must eat the humble pie and accept to place the country ahead of everything, and let's have the dialogue.